Morgan, you there?
Yes, yes. I just walked away for 2 seconds.
Okay. Morgan, is this your personal apartment? It looks like, or your place? It looks like you would live here.
You know what? I take that as a compliment. But no, that's a background.
Yeah, I got you.
What's my light going on?
Looks very fancy, like you.
Honestly, trying to catch up to you, sir.
Child.
Yeah, word is you're a fancy man.
Oh, no, sir.
He's a fancy man. Are you still drinking coffee?
I am. This is my afternoon coffee, actually.
I think I'm a little late for mine. I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep if I don't,
My
Get to
afternoon coffee.
right? The elixir of life. Don't tell me there's no such thing as magic beans, right?
I would concur.
Although I had tried matcha tea.
Oh, I think we're losing you. I think you're going in and out on us.
supposed to have a lot of caffeine, but it doesn't have.
Tara, I think you're going in and out on us.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
So we're gonna get started right at 2:30, 2:31, somewhere in there.
Okay.
All right, guys. It is now 2:30, and welcome to this edition of Industry Updates. Obviously, I am not Brett Caldwell, but I am standing in for him today. He's out with my wonderful KW Buckhead colleague, Morgan Green. How you doing, Morgan?
Hey, how you doing? I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, this is our industry update, and real quick, we're going to do a quick 30-second intro of each one of ourselves. Again, my name is Hubert. I've been with KW since day one, since I started in real estate back in 2017. I've actually been with the Heart of Atlanta group that entire time, and so happy to be here today, and thrilled to be hosting the industry update. Morgan?
Yes. 30 seconds. My name is Morgan Green. I've been with the company for about really my whole real estate career as well. And I've been with Keller Williams Buckhead my whole career. And I'm elated to be here and to chat with you guys.
Awesome. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, Morgan, tell me, I always have to start off my day and my life, what we're grateful for. So real quick, what are we grateful for today? What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for the opportunity to be grateful, you know,
Stop it.
because, I'm just grateful that I'm in my right mind and I'm alive and I'm well. And just, I get the opportunity just to do what I love. What about you?
Hey, I am also grateful to be here as well. Recently, my mom died about a month ago, and her funeral was about 2 days before Thanksgiving. And so, of course, it was a tough time, but thankfully, I have great folks here at KW who really support me, and I'm so thankful for that. And to be part of a company such as this, to always be there and have my back through hard times and good times. So I'm thankful for that. So awesome, fantastic. So let's dive into these numbers. I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see here.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
I just want to let you know again that, of course, I'm always here for you. We love you so much. We're always one phone call away. But, I send my condolences to you once again.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right. So we have the numbers up here. We can see the numbers, right, Morgan?
Yes. Can
All
everybody?
right. So if we take a look at the numbers, week over week, and we go all the way over to the right column over here, we can see in terms of the actives, we are down in actives. We went from 392 to 344. And I think, I think that's an indication of as we inch closer and closer to Christmas, we're going to see those numbers continue to go down because, of course, real estate is very driven by what's happening in the broader ecosystem of life. And so these are the holidays, folks with families and things of that nature. And so we do see those actives go down. What are your thoughts, Morgan?
I would agree. I do feel like we are seeing some actives go down, especially in the Cobb County area and a little bit of Fulton County as well. However, I like you said, I do feel it's due to the holidays and people going in and out of town. But I do have some really serious buyers and really serious sellers as well. And I've been focusing my time on catering to them. So, and they've been seeing some really good results.
Yeah, you have to find the ready, willing, and able, as we call it.
Yes,
Going through Fulton County, I mean, we can see on the 5th, there were 716 actives, and then we went to 460 today. And, in the cab, it's the same, went from 392 to 344. In Cobb, 402 to 303. And so, those actives are going down. But the bright side of that, if you're in the market to buy a house in Cobb County, there are 303 active homes out there. So go get those homes.
Yes.
Another key point that is also indicative of what's happening in the broader marketplace, the number of closed. I can see here in Fulton, we were from 231 to 288. And then cab, I think, I'm not sure if that's me reverbing or, do y'all hear reverbing on?
Oh, was that me? I'll turn mine down.
Okay, yeah, I think it's gone now. In the cab, the number of closed went from 139 to 196. And then in Cobb, we went from 164 to 193, which I think that's an indication of those folks, those agents who got properties under contract right before Thanksgiving. And now those properties are closing out at this time of the month. What are your thoughts, Morgan?
Yeah, I feel that the properties that we're seeing that are actually closing out are from last month as well. And also want to digest that just a little bit further and see who's purchasing right now. Right now, we have people that are purchasing that have to be in their home before the New Year's. They're relocating. And ironically, I'm still seeing a lot of investors actually buy homes as well. And I know that people say that investors weren't really doing anything, but I'm seeing a lot of investors buy homes in communities that have either no HOA or very minimal rental restrictions. So.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the most encouraging part about all of this is that closings are still happening. It's December. Yes. Closings are still happening. And I think, some of those investors who wanted to invest maybe need to do so by the end of the year. I've had a call from agents or from from my investor clients say, hey, Hubert, what can we get closed in the next 2 weeks? And I think also those investors know that because things are not as competitive this
Yeah,
time of year, they want to take advantage of that
yeah.
before the new year. And I think that's really, really important. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And number one, let me just say that's a great call to have. Hey, to have someone call you and say, "Hey, I need to get closed within the next 2 weeks." But yeah, just picking back off what you said, I feel like there's a lot of validity to that right now.
Yeah, and Terry's asking, what geographic areas seem to have the most investors purchasing at current? And I'll let you chime in, Morgan, too. But I think the west side of Atlanta has a lot of opportunity right now. I have some properties down in East Point that are doing really well, and I think those are some popular areas that I'm seeing. What are your thoughts, Morgan?
Um, uh, yes, and also I'm starting to see a lot of investors purchase close to the airport and also in Cobb County. I was kind of shocked about Cobb County, but a lot of 3-2s are going into contract. And like I said before, communities that don't have pretty much any HOA restrictions, they're eating those up right now. So I'm not really seeing too much in Gwinnett anymore, ironically.
Yeah, and even if we look at the number of closings, here in Fulton, 231 and 288, in DeKalb, 139 to 196, in Cobb, we went from 164 to 193. So closings are still happening. So this notion and this mindset that things get slow at this time of year, sure,
Right.
it's true on one hand, but on the other hand, we still have closings. That's what's most important about this current marketplace.
What are the most prevalent price ranges for investors? I'm seeing a lot of, should I reread that question out loud? I'm not sure if
Sure,
everyone
yeah.
saw that. What are the most prevalent price ranges for investors? I'm seeing really 300 and below. As far as the buy and holds, I'm seeing them still doing very few flips, but more so buying holds and renting them out.
Yeah, and when I'm having these conversations with my investor clients, the days of flipping a property and then selling it for astronomical prices like we saw in the past, I mean that's pretty
Right.
much done. And so when it comes to an investment strategy, the buy and hold, I mean for at least the next 3-5 years, that's going to be the move in the play. And I'm seeing too a lot of investor groups, of which I'm part of, they had that same mindset. You're going to have to hold this property, and
Yeah.
so you're in, and to realize, more importantly, to realize your equity in the long term, you're going to have to hold it because, as we see, these prices are leveling out, and so the days of just going in and flipping the property, just like that, it could happen as long as you
Yeah.
have a strong exit strategy. But for the vast majority of investors, I think are choosing to buy and hold, buy and rent, holding that property for the next 3-5 plus years in order to realize their returns on their investments.
Yeah, and they're more so focused on cost of supply, timing of the market, interest rates. There's just so many factors where they are changing the game, but that does not mean that they aren't investing right now. They're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
out there.
yeah. And at the same point, I mean, a lot of them too are very cautious too.
Yes, yes. And I still have some investors buying land,
Yeah,
planning for next year.
yeah. I saw Mika's hand.
Yeah, I just finished an offer for an investor and we have been looking at properties and he's running numbers because the interest rate does change things and his price point has come down. But there are some opportunities for some of those not as attractive properties that are on the market to have some negotiation there. Like I'm seeing prices drop $10,000 on some things. And a lot of it's just negotiation. So I'm right there with you on the investors.
And then too, you have different types of investors. You have the investors who've been doing this for years and years and years and know the game. That's one set. And then you have the folks who may have a primary property, want to start investing, but don't want to like dive in with everybody else. This is their market because they can kind of sneak in or kind of get their feet wet without a whole lot of competition as they had before. And so I think those investors are really the ones who really want to take some action because they do want to get involved, but competition has really steered them away in the past.
And just to piggyback, I think you said Mika said something just now.
Yeah.
I just heard a voice. I just see the screen and I've heard a voice. But just to piggyback off what you said, yes, I do feel like a lot of investors are still out there, and especially sellers that are also investors as well. Thank you. Sorry, there we go. Sellers are also investors as well, and they actually want to get rid of their property before the end of the year. So they are giving out more closing costs, more than normal, I would say. So yeah, that's a great way to kind of look at what are our investors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I
Yeah.
also had a new investor pop up. I sold their listing. They had a rental property they got rid of, and now they want to attempt to get into Airbnb. So these people out here who have the liquidity, they're looking for opportunities. We have to educate them about what's out there. And then also talking to the lenders about what they can do when it comes to rental revenue and those sorts of things to offset some of those, I say some of those stop signs that they may be running into when it comes to starting the process of investing for the first time or in a different avenue.
Yeah.
That's the second time I heard that too. Investors using the liquid from their assets now to purchase more. At least, I think it's at least 30% of liquidity to purchase more real estate during a market like this. So, which is also helping the market move.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I mean, kind of transitioning, what are the opportunities for us as agents right now in this moment on December 12th, 2022? And I think a lot of it is really goes back to mindset. I mean, there is still time on the clock for this year. You can still get people under contract and get them closed for January. I mean, to make a strong January. And so I don't, in my eyes, especially when we are gearing towards those January closings, I mean, things aren't done until December 31st, a new year. I mean, the standard 30-day close. And so there's still time on the clock right now to get folks under contract.
Yes. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, I'll talk about.
Yeah. And also too, when it comes to, during this time of, kind of getting ready for 2023, gearing up for 2023, the conversation that I'm having now during my lead gen, if those clients are not ready to make a move right now, just lining them up. When are you going to be ready? When are you going to be ready? February, June, and just lining them up one by one and putting them on my calendar to make sure I follow up. And so I think, and of course, those folks, I mean, more, I know, the new year, you meet people, they want to get new houses. It's like, okay, great. I mean, I'm gearing up for those folks too, to make sure that, we have a strong first quarter for 2023.
Yes. And you know what? It's so interesting that you say that too, because one of the things that I've learned in my business is to, when everyone's take their foot off the foot off the pedal, to actually press a little bit harder. And what I mean by that specifically is definitely making my holiday calls, sending my holiday cards, making sure my campaigns in my database is up to date, and not just to prepare me for now, but to also prepare me for next year, because in January, I'm still going to be sending out holiday cards saying Happy New Year, just to give it another touch, and just to also send out little things just to remind them about taxes and making sure they file for the homestead exemption. But I've seen a significant difference in my business when I actually work harder now. Well, not really work harder now, but just more so follow up and use my systems now versus any other time of the year.
Yep. And
follow up is key.
And I'll say too, I've been having conversations with some agents who say, I don't think real estate is for me. That's an opportunity for us who are, look forward to continuing in real estate to say, hey, send me your deals. I send a 25% commission to you, just like that. And so, I mean, that's a way to get those clients, and that's a new lead gen source from those, agents who, may not want to pursue, real estate aggressively. And so that's a way to, start a whole way of lead gen to those agents as well. And I think too, Morgan, you and I were talking about earlier about just the incentives for new construction buyers, and talk about that.
You know what? It goes kind of hand in hand with why some agents are actually moving or leaving real estate to go to other different fields. I feel like, and part of that is because they don't really keep abreast with the market. And I feel like if the agents that are keeping abreast with the market and also increasing their market share by constantly putting out information, or whether it's social media or whatever you want to do, I feel like those are the agents that are going to be winning, and those are agents that are going to be more consistent than the others. Also, I almost lost my train of thought.
We're talking about new construction and the deals that
On
are
new
being
construction.
offered.
Also, speaking of which, I was looking at the market, and I was also noticing that in some areas that they're giving like super big incentive. Not only are they now paying 3% commission, some people are actually giving like 50. I saw something the other day, they're giving $15,000 on top of the commission if you are under contract before the end of the year. You know what I mean? So incentives are definitely back, and I'm definitely happy about that.
No, incentives for the buyers and also the agents. And so, some
Yes.
lenders are throwing in closing costs, this
Yes.
and that. And like, we hadn't seen that in a long time to this level.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And we're deprived from that since 2020. So it is pretty nice to see that again, though.
I mean, and so some of the incentives, I mean, you could almost like double your commission because the incentives that are being offered. And I think the key is with a lot of them, because a lot of builders want to hit their, year numbers, it
Yeah.
has to be under contract by the end of the year. And so take advantage of those. I mean, that's another way to set up for a good 2023.
And that's going to help the market move constantly. I know if I was a buyer, and I know if my agent had told me that, I'm like, okay, let's hop on this deal. Obviously, you know what I mean? Because buyers want to feel like they're always winning.
Oh yeah, and or even those investors who want to take advantage of those incentives too. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
here's new construction can be an incentive. Put a renter in there and let them stay
Yes.
for 3 to 5 years, pay down the mortgage, and you won't have that much in closing costs or anything like that. And so that's another opportunity that we can present to our clients.
Yes, got it.
And which leads to, of course, the market is shifting. What are some things that you're doing in your business, Morgan, to help alleviate the stress of the market shifting? I know for myself, I think that going back to the basics. I mean, I think back when I started in the business back in 2017, making those phone calls, going through my entire phone, my Facebook list, and just hitting people up left and right. Because I think what happened over that time, I got away from it. And so like going back to the basics is, one of the things that is really important.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And just to kind of piggyback off what you said, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel at all. What I'm doing is actually doing the same thing, but just being more consistent at it and more intentional with it. So what I mean by that specifically is I have been going through my database, going through my phones, making sure that everyone's under a specific category, because I feel like I just had people in my database and I didn't even know where I met them from. So which gave me which would presented an opportunity for me to call them and say, hey, you're in my database. I know that you're in there for a reason. You're in my phone for a reason. I know you must be important. Let's talk. Let's connect. You know what I mean? And that has also been giving me business. So what I'm doing to prepare myself for next year, not only am I reaching out to my database now, I'm also setting up home buying seminars. I'm also doing a vision board party for next year too, just thinking about some creative ideas to network and just to come together and increase market share.
Oh yeah. And even like those folks on the listing side, folks who I've sold to in the past, like just hitting them up and say, hey, is that house still working for you? Are we ready to move to something else or move to something bigger? And having those conversations. And I'm not gonna lie, you talk about, folks in your database who you didn't know, or it's like, how do you get there? I mean, I had to get rid of the mindset just last week. With a person who was in my phone. I was like, who is this person? So I just said, hey, this is Hubert. I know we haven't talked in a while. I know that, we had some real estate conversations before. Do you still have any real estate needs that we need to discuss? Any questions of me?
Yeah.
And I sent it to a lot of folks who I didn't know. And a few people responded. And to my surprise, and we had a real conversation about buying and selling. And so like letting go of that fear of, if I reach out, are they gonna like get mad at me or this or that? And so getting rid of that is really, really important. And then too, you talk about not reinventing the wheel. I mean, we have the MREA, and it's time for me to read that again. I mean, that is our KW sales Bible, and the what's in there and the tools and the tricks, those are priceless and they're timeless. And so going back to what's in there is also really important for our businesses.
Yeah, I love that. I want to kind of add to what you were just saying and say I've also been going through that same thing in my business year after year, as far as not reaching out to certain people as much as I should. And it's always that first ice-breaking conversation that's kind of like, hello, like, how you feeling? Like, what's the temperature feeling like of the conversation? You know what I mean? But it always ends up turning more positive than negative. You know what I mean? And I actually got that from Bold by just getting out of my own way and just kind of just doing it. And actually looking back, and it was like, it wasn't so bad after all. And 9 times out of 10, they were actually happy to hear from me. And I feel like now is a perfect time to really do so, because who doesn't want to hear, well, a lot of people do want to hear happy holiday, you know what I mean? And they're going to say, oh, so nice to hear from you. I thank you for thinking about me. And that was a great way just to kind of go into real estate needs. So.
Yep. And I was actually reading an article. I'm going to pull it up real quick here about the 7 types of agents this market will crush. And I mean, I read it, I was like, wow, this is kind of timeless. And so the first one are the uninformed agents. And those are the agents who, you know, they're not really attuned to what's happening in the marketplace, or they don't come to the weekly sales meetings. They don't come to the industry update calls. They're not reading articles. I mean, and this, you know, we have to stay on top of what's happening in the marketplace to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would definitely agree. Yeah, and so
Double down, double click, says Morgan. The secret agents. Nobody likes the secret agents. We got to know who you are, right?
Yeah, increasing that market share. Now is the time, because everyone's just kind of just relaxing, especially during the market shift. Now is the time to keep abreast on the market, not only for you, but for other people as well. Maybe not be in your particular state, but maybe in another state. You can give out a referral, and now you have another referral partner.
Yeah. And that even applies to family. Like, you'll be surprised how many of your family members don't know that you're an agent. And then you look up and they're closing on a new house. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And so you're going to be around family for the holidays. Make sure that your family members know that you're an agent. Give them a card. I mean, my first cousin, you give him the card too.
Right. You know what's so funny? Let me start wearing my name tag on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Actually, let's see how that work out.
Because we're not going to have like, oh, I didn't know. No, you did know. We took the picture of the Christmas tree. I had on a KW shirt. You didn't know.
Okay, just in case.
All right. The negative agents. I mean, we got to have some positivity. We got to be positive. We got to speak success into our careers, into our businesses, because negativity, that is not the name of the game.
Yeah, and we also have to be responsible for negativity and putting out negativity as well, especially on social media, and not just looking for clicks, but just to, you know, let people know that the market is still moving.
Yep. Passive agents. And this is something that, you know, here at KW, we talk a lot about, and be active with our lead generation. Of course, you're going to get the deals by, you know, just, you know, being in the right place at the right time, but we have to get out there and get the business. You have to go knock on the doors and call people and slide in the DMs. I am not ashamed to slide in the DMs at all. Also, let's see, the undisciplined agents. You're pretty disciplined, Morgan.
I try to be. I have
positive examples. How are you disciplined?
Say that again.
How are you disciplined in your business?
You know what? How I'm disciplined? I just literally follow my calendar, but it took me a minute to do so, because before it was just like another sound that just went off. But actually, I just became really intentional about my business. So just started following that calendar from the time I woke up to the time I go to bed, and it works out for me.
Awesome. The desperate agents, and those are the folks who, you know, you can just smell that they want the commission. And of course, we say here at Keller Williams, focus on the client, the money will come. And so you don't want to seem like, you know, this moment of desperation in your deals, because folks would definitely sniff that out. And the last one, the unfocused agents. It kind of goes back to being undisciplined. You have to be focused too. You can't spread yourself too thin by doing this and doing that. We have to be focused in our lead generation efforts and make sure we double down on what we're good at. I mean, I know that I'm good at my referrals, my database, I'm not the greatest with expires, and so I'm not going to focus on that. And so I'm going to focus on what I'm good at, and that's what brings me my deals. At the end of every year, and I think a lot of people do this, I look at all the deals that I've closed in the previous year, and I itemize exactly where they came from. Did they come from social media? Did they come from my database? Did they come from my church, wherever? And wherever the most, or once I see a theme in the data, that's what I focus on for the following year. And for the last couple of years, it's been my database and my social media. That's what's been really good to me.
And just out of curiosity, how long did it take you to get there? Because I just don't want to just talk about the things that we kind of do now, but if I were to reflect back on my business, it wasn't always easy to be focused. It wasn't always easy to be consistent or even organized. There was so many activities to do per day that I was really becoming overwhelmed, which is why I actually use my calendar. So, but I have to set it in advance in order for me to clearly focus on certain activities and understand, hey, you're putting as much energy as you can towards this task for this amount of time, and I can move on to the next once my calendar tells me so to do so. You know what I mean? But it took me a minute to get there. So I'm asking you, how long did it take you to get to where you are today as far as being organized in your business?
Yeah, I mean, it took a while. It definitely took a while because you have to, especially as a new agent, you have to focus on working in your business and then focus on working on your business. And those are two different things.
Correct.
And so you definitely have to time block and focus when it comes to those two dynamics. And so if my calendar says, all right, from 8 to 12, I'm working, in my business, I do that. And then the rest of the day, I'm working on my business, whether that's, working on my social media or this or that, whatever it is, you
Yeah.
definitely have to time block because if you spend too much time doing one or the other, then you're not going to see the results that you really, really, really want. And so it does take a while. I mean, I think it took me a solid year to like really get a system, get comfortable with everything.
Yeah.
But it can be done for sure.
Yes. Yeah. I even
Awesome.
plan my social media posts.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
I
all
use
of
an
that,
app to do so.
all that. Your calendar drives your success for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Morgan. We start on time, we end on time, so
You
it's
do.
2:59 ish. And so, thank you so much, and everyone have a great and productive week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye.